The Lockyer Valley town of Grantham will never be the same. There's no water in sight, but all around are reminders of what happened 4 months ago, when the entire region was hit by a devastating flood that claimed 17 lives. While parts of Grantham look like a ghost town, today's voluntary land swap deal is seen as a way forward and will hopefully protect residents from future floods.
Essentially, people will be offered the opportunity to actually swap the land that they have for land on the hill under a set criteria, which is very much a title for title type swap.
The estimated $30 million plan will mean residents can relocate to a parcel of land adjacent to the Grantham township. Of the 80 blocks of land released, 55 of them have already been snapped up. The aim is to have residents in new homes by Christmas.
I'm considering it. Yes, I am. I've got one home that's left. The other home got washed away. One rental property, and it's in the main stream of water. So yes, I am considering it very seriously.
But not everyone is keen to take up the offer.
Like a cyclone, I've been through a cyclone before, and I thought, well, I rebuilt then, so why not rebuild now? And hopefully we won't have another one of these nice big waves of water come through.
The Mayor says this isn't a push for a new Grantham, just an opportunity for some residents to relocate. The land swap means the inundated areas of Grantham will now be earmarked for a special memorial, for parkland, and even for agricultural purposes. The land swap might be a great plan for Grantham, but the truth is many residents are simply not going to be able to afford the cost to move, a cost that they're expected to pay.
The actual cost, if they wish to rebuild or move their house, that physical cost will be theirs. You know, this is a fairly advantageous project for a relatively small council to undertake.
Whether they stay or whether they go, the sentiment is it's now time for Grantham to move on. Clare Hunter, QUT News. Cybercrime, identity theft and credit card skimming are buzzwords we are all familiar with. But police fear children are the new targets in the online world.
You know, the children today are the victims of tomorrow potentially, and we've got to do something about it. We've got to get the message out.
Children as young as 13 are targeted by cybercriminals through social networking sites, who store their details for future use.
And the crooks can wait. They've got your identity. In 5 years' time, you might find you've got a credit card taken out in your name, you've got a debt already incurred. We've got to think long term.
The Queensland Police have been trying to teach kids to be vigilant on the net.
Fiscal's my name. Fiscal, the fraud-fighting ferret.
The threat to children is one of the major talking points at the High-Tech Crime Symposium. Credit cards and how to protect them from international fraudsters was also on the agenda.
A lot of the time when our cards get compromised, the money is extracted in businesses in other countries. Why not have a credit card that is only applicable for Australia?
Among the delegates are global experts from the FBI and the Turkish police, who provided a rare insight into the intricate world of high-tech crime. Today's keynote speaker was a US Secret Service agent responsible for cracking one of the world's biggest credit card fraud syndicates. And like any good Hollywood movie, Operation Carter Chaos involved undercover cops over 34 different countries, with a total amount of stolen funds coming to a whopping $110 million US. The symposium runs until Thursday. Clare Hunter, QUT News. After 13 months of training, these puppies have been given their P-plates. The Pups in Prison program is a joint venture between the Barallan Correctional Centre and Assistance Dogs Australia. Inmates have been given the responsibility of training the Labradors to assist people with special needs, helping them with day-to-day tasks.
Well, to have one of these assistance dogs allows you to get out on your own without having to take mum or dad or a carer, so it's a whole new world of freedom and independence.
In the future, the dogs will not only help their carers physically, but also emotionally and socially. These pups will offer a very important service for the people they serve, but the role they play here in helping the inmates rehabilitate is something very special indeed.
The offenders have gained so much through this program where, like the offender said today, that they've taken from the community, and now that we've given them the opportunity to give something positive back.
While doing time, the inmates in this maximum security prison share a special bond with the dogs, learning empathy, compassion and patience, which can be forgotten emotions behind the barbed wire.
They'll make you happy, they'll make you sad, they'll make you frustrated, and all these emotions just sort of all come day by day as you're training the pups.
Having done their time here, these labs are on a road trip to Sydney for advanced training before being placed with a person in need of their invaluable help. Clare Hunter, QUT News. It was this penalty in 2010 that proved former Canterbury Bulldogs player Ryan Tandy was involved in one of rugby league's biggest betting scandals.
Ugly looking tackle and the penalty comes.
The judge found Tandy guilty for purposefully giving away the penalty in the first 2 minutes, allowing the Cowboys to score. The forward was slapped with a $4,000 fine and placed on a 12-month good behaviour bond. In the Champions League 2020 cricket, Daniel Harris bagged a century, but it wasn't enough for South Australia, who were robbed of the semi-final by Royal Bangalore's Aaron Kartik, who hit a 6 on the final ball.
That ball's travelling, it is into the stands!
In a colourful display of loyalty, one Brisbane Roar fan was tickled orange. Midfielder Eric Partaloo tanned and talked tactics for Saturday's grudge match against the Gold Coast Mariners.
You know, they'll be trying to get some revenge on us, and like I said before, it's about taking the emotions out of the game, and it's game one this year. It's a new season, fresh slate for everyone, so everyone's got to be on their toes.
With rain and thunderstorms expected across the weekend, the Roar will be playing in similar conditions to their countrymen across the ditch. The Wallabies are preparing for their do-or-die clash against the Springboks in the Rugby World Cup quarter-final on Sunday in Wellington. With a full-strength lineup back on deck, the Wallabies made the most of a wet and windy training session. The side are getting back to basics, preparing for a kicking game. Coach Robbie Deans is expected to name the squad on Friday. Clare Hunter, QUT News. Origin legends and Origin stalwarts united at the Brisbane Jobs Expo as a way to help bridge the gap between Indigenous and non-Indigenous employment.
If you prepare well, everything goes well for you, and they've got incredible opportunities, these kids.
Drawn by the superstar front row, local students spent the school day getting autographs and then getting hands-on with the exhibits. Around 80 stalls from a wide range of industries tantalised the crowds, giving the youngsters a taste of careers in a range of areas from art to the army.
I want to be a teacher, a graphic designer.
Physiotherapy.
Being an Indigenous liaison officer.
The Origin stars passed on their tips for success in life.
Pick something that you really enjoy and stick with it and work hard.
While young people here are taking advantage of the information packs and hands-on exhibits, the Amnesty International Forum for Human Rights for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people is underway at Parliament House. The Palm Island community of North Queensland has had a troubled past. With unemployment at 97%, Indigenous job seekers may have to go back to the mainland.
A lot of jobs are never going to be in those little towns, that we have to work to get our youth and our young population into working in the next town or working in the closest regional centres or flying to the mines.
But back at the stadium, the young job seekers were aiming high.
I want to be a football player.
Clare Hunter, QUT News. Good evening. Time to take a look at the weather. Our time-lapse skycam shows there was some cloud over the city around lunchtime today, but no threat of showers, and it cleared up later in the afternoon. The wider picture shows a cool low moving to the southeast, leaving a high-pressure system across the centre of Australia, bringing fine weather with it. Looking ahead, Hobart and Darwin may get some showers, while there could be some early frost and a very cool start for Canberra at 1 degree. Around Queensland, showers will clear in Mackay with a top of 26, some early fog for Rockhampton and a possible thunderstorm in Bundaberg. There'll be some cloud around Brisbane tomorrow with a top of 25 degrees. The Gold Coast will have a top of 23 tomorrow with southeasterly winds and seas to 1.7 metres. And the Sunshine Coast can expect a top of 24 with winds up to 20 knots. The outlook for Brisbane over the next 3 days is more fine weather with tops of 27 for Friday and Saturday. That's the latest on the weather.